Today is marked on the lectionary calendar as Epiphany Sunday, a Sunday where the Christian church remembers the visit of the wise ones, the Magi, to the Christ child, and which is traditionally celebrated 12 days after Christmas on the day of Epiphany. In the Gospel reading, we hear the traditional story of a rising star that guided the wise ones from the east so that they could give their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the Christ child. The wise ones set out and traveled at great risk so that they could give these gifts to the Christ child. The most important of those gifts being the gift of themselves. Matthew tells us that the Magi came from the east to Jerusalem, and they had one question on their minds. Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and we have come to worship him. Some translations read, we have come to pay him homage. Either way, the point is clear. They came all the way for one reason and one reason only, to worship Jesus, to make him the object of their devotion. He was the object of their devotion. They came to give their devotion to the new king. Speaking of devotion, a pastor went to see a couple in her church. It was around early March. As she sat in their den with them, she noticed a Christmas ornament hanging from a bookshelf. They saw her look at it, and they said, "No, we did not forget. Every year, when we put all of the decorations away, we choose one to leave behind on purpose to remind us that Christmas is not just one day or one season. For us, Christmas is a lifetime. That ornament is a reminder that Jesus walks with us every day." How true. So let all of us remember this, then, and keep Christ as the object of our devotion, and let us daily give him the best that we have, just as the Magi did that day so long ago. They paid homage to their new king by presenting him with their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold was a gift fit for a king. It was costly, treasured, and sought after. Frankincense was an expensive fragrance, not a monster. It was a fine perfume. Myrrh was a precious ointment used in the preparation for death. All of these gifts were expensive treasures in that day and very important in that part of the world. Each of those men brought to the one they worshipped the best they had to offer him. These gifts were a sign of their dedication, but also a statement about their priorities. They had come not only to give Christ their most prized possessions, but also to offer up themselves to him. And Matthew tells us that's exactly what they did. And then he follows it up by saying, being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their own country by another way. In other words, the wise ones did not travel back the same way that they came through Jerusalem, through Herod's town. Instead, they went in a new direction. The Magi gave Christ the best they had to offer him, made him the object of their devotion, and after they experienced the presence of the Christ child, they followed a new direction. If Christ is the object of our devotion, and if we give him the best that we have, then surely our lives will or should take a new direction. It was a few days after Christmas. My mother was busy cleaning up the den, putting everything away, taking the Christmas tree down. Her son came in and saw her and said, "Mama, what are you doing?" She said, "I'm putting all our Christmas stuff away. And he asked in reply, but why are you doing that? She answered, so everything will be back to normal. His response to that was, Mama, I don't want things to get back to normal again. On the second Sunday after Christmas, we have the thought in our minds that Christmas is over. There's often an urge, the desire to pack everything up and get it all out of the way. But sometimes, I think we rush away from it too quickly, and we do too good a job at cleaning up after it. And that we run the risk of removing Christmas from our lives. What if after Christmas we could keep life from getting back to normal? What if we could really hang on to Christmas and take it with us in the days ahead in the new year? Perhaps we can keep something of Christmas alive in us that will move us in a new direction. As we begin a new year, let us become the wise ones by making Jesus the object of our devotion and giving all our gifts, our giftedness, to God. Each of us has a set of gifts that we can give to God. Let us move into the new year in a new direction, remembering the things discussed here today about the visit of the Magi and their devotion. And let the memory of that night and those days so long ago continue to live on in our hearts throughout the year. Today is Epiphany Sunday, a Sunday in which we celebrate the gifts the wise ones many years ago brought to Christ. And today, we also celebrate the gifts the wise ones here in our congregation are bringing to Christ. For one is indeed wise when they come to Christ, giving all that they have and all that they are, and devoting their lives to moving in a new direction that is Christ-centered. That, my friends, is a wise hope.